All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. We'll wait for others to join us on here. We'll wait for others to join us in the space. Okay. So Dr. K, I'm hitting the invite. Okay. Yeah. That's good. Okay. So Dr. K.
Hey, Bishop.
Hey. Okay. So, um, can you hear me? Because I think I have my sound turned down.
Yes,
Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear
Well,
you. I'm
good. Good.
forever adjusting this light. I am not a light expert by no means. I'm not even a light amateur.
Okay. Okay. Well. Oh, great. Great. Let me put my uh glasses on so I can see people when they come in. We're gonna get started in a few. Dr. K, do you know how to share? Because in there a way you can share the live or something?
Yes, and for me, it's down in the comment area. So I'm going to share it right now with some people. And
Okay.
let's see here. Let's start by sharing with her. Unfortunately, you have to
Yeah.
do topic. The topic, Antoine, is about LGBTQ parenting, a family.
Yes.
Let's get Ruby. Let's see if Ruby's on tonight. Wasn't she phenomenal treat to meet the legacy queen?
Uh-oh. Good evening, everybody. Okay, Wesley, KB, Antoinette. Y'all come on in. Come on in.
Let me get Kelly in.
Okay. Good evening.
Then yeah, if you're coming in, bless us by sharing. Um, oh, Chris, you're headed up to ELC soon. That's awesome.
Yes, Chris, we'll be so glad to see you. Good
Hey,
evening,
Lane.
Lane.
Lane's in Northern Indiana. I'm going to get to meet her pretty soon. Who's being
Got
ordained? Wesley.
you being consecrated bishop? Okay. And Chris is in Virginia. Okay. Marbury, Dontron. Okay, y'all come on in. Come on in. Um, we're gonna get started in just a minute, but Dr. K, you got to help me. I'm not sure how I can share this.
The
Uh,
screen looks different when you're the
Hi,
host.
Callie. Okay, okay. Well, maybe I won't be able to share it. But hopefully some other folks can share it. Oh, you're being consecrated apostle. Okay.
I'm working on sharing right now, Bishop.
Hill, Maryland. Okay, I love it. Love Maryland, folks. We're in Maryland. Okay, so tonight I wanted to come on and talk about. First of all, it's always important to talk about LGBT authenticity. Okay, and so y'all help us to get to the what is that plateau we need to get
Oh,
to?
yeah.
Likes.
5,000. We need 5,000 likes to get on the FYP scroll.
Yeah, so y'all help us to get on the FYP scroll so that all the haters see what we're talking about. Okay. Thanks again from Cali. Thanks for everybody coming in tonight. All right, and so thank you for stopping by, Lisa King. And so we always want to talk about first the importance of authenticity. To me, that's important, that's key, that's what I always talk about, because if you're not authentic, you rob other people of the opportunity to know a wonderful lesbian, a wonderful gay male, a wonderful bisexual individual, or maybe even a wonderful transgender person. And so, for example, A lot of folks say, well, I don't really know any gay folks. I don't have no gay friends. And you've been sitting up there, they friend for the longest. So at some point when you decide to be authentic, you're like, well, have you noticed that you don't see me with any men? Have you noticed you heard me talk about any men? Have you noticed that I've never mentioned any male dates, but I'm always talking about a woman friend? You break it to them, let them know, look, this is who I am. I am a proud lesbian, you know. And then they're like, oh, clutch the pearls, honey. I did not know you were, you know. And then at that point, they can say they know somebody who is gay. They got a gay friend. Somebody always got a gay friend, okay? And so why not a gay friend that they have? Why not be the gay person that they know that says, you know, Trisha and Tina are so normal. It just they don't really appear to be a gay couple. You know, they don't do any of that gay stuff we see on television, and you know their hair looks normal. And you know, I just tell you, Trisha and Tina are just wonderful people. And that's what people will say about you. You know, am I right, Dr. K? They're just like,
You telling
uh,
the truth.
they're in shock, and they're like, you know, that Gary and Johnny. Oh my gosh, they're always dressed so nice when they leave the house.
Yes.
And so and you're just like, okay. And so Gary and Johnny are the examples of gay men in their life. And so they Gary and Johnny all the time. They say, you know, we got these gay neighbors and they're so kind. They're always bringing us something. And if we ever need anything, they check with us. And, you know, they keep their house nice. And believe it or not, they cut their grass and they offer to cut other people's grass. And, you know, when it's time to shovel the snow, they shovel. And, you know, and so when you're authentic, people can look at you and say, you know what? I I really do feel like gay folks are okay. You
Hey,
know,
Foxy One. Hey, we also
it,
had TikTok Lady Cop come in. I
oh well,
love me some TikTok Lady Cop. TikTok Lady Cop, if you want to jump in here live with the bishop, just let us know because you know you get a ticket in on the box. So you're right,
okay,
Bishop. Or they go to the two men and like, oh, their house is so nicely decorated. You
right,
know?
right, and it's like they're shocked because you know, gay people are like normal people, but that's what I want to talk about tonight. Gay people are normal people, okay? And so we
Yes.
to understand that. But oftentimes people are not going to understand that if they don't know the people around them are gay, the people around them are same gender loving, the people around them are transgender. And so it's important for you to be authentic. Let me tell you how happy I was today when I heard about the young lady. Hi, Barbara. Thank you. The young lady who Celine, is that her name? Corrine. And I've watched her for a while. Corrine, who is now the first black woman to be the press secretary. But
Yes.
of the fact that they said she's also a part of the LGBT community, she is a lesbian woman. And so now that shows that hey, she's educated, she's
Yes.
she's well poised. She's respected enough in the community that somebody saw fit to appoint her to this position. Okay. And so I so appreciate that people can see LGBT persons in their authenticity doing their thing. Okay. We've got to stop putting so much focus on who people are sleeping with and look at their character, look at their experience, look at what they bring to the room, bring to the space, bring to the table. And so I just believe that there are so many talented LGBT individuals. And so, you know, when people try to reduce us to a bedroom, we have to stand up for ourselves.
Woo!
No,
Yes.
so much more than that. When people try to reduce us to our sleeping positions, we have to let people know that we're so much more than that. Y'all help us to get to five.
Yes.
But we're so much more than that. Okay. Anybody in here, a doctor. Anybody in here a lawyer? Anybody in here a
Woo,
teacher?
come
Anybody
on.
in here an engineer? Somebody might be a pilot. Somebody in here might be a nurse. Okay, somebody in here might be an elected official. Somebody in here might be a pastor. Somebody in here might be a minister of music. Somebody in here might be a teacher, a college professor. And so, we've got to stop allowing people to reduce us to who we are sleeping with, because the way I look at it, if we're going to reduce everybody to who they're sleeping with, let's reduce people to who they're having affairs with. Let's reduce people to who they've molested and who they've incested. Let's reduce
Mm,
who they've raped. Okay, so let's bring all of that to the table. If we're reducing people to that, then everybody needs to be reduced on that level. Okay, so let's look at people's character, look at what they bring to the room, and look at what they offer. There's so many LGBT people who are doing great things on today, and the reason that you know about them is because they have been authentic. Okay, and so that is important. um and somebody said you're not allowed to be in the pulpit because you're being gay. Oh yeah, Southern Baptist, yeah, you just need to come on out of there. Yeah, no. But it's important for us to also know spaces and places where we can be authentic and where we're going to be accepted. Some people just not going to change. Let me tell y'all that. Some
amen.
people are not going to change. Okay, we're at 3,000, y'all. We got 2,000 more to go.
Yes.
um some people are just not going to change, and a lot of churches are not going to change. And so when you think about that, hey, who is that? R Scott. um when you think about that, you have to understand that if there's a place that is stuck and refuses to evolve, refuses to stretch, refuses to grow and get a new understanding, and you have gotten a new understanding, then that means you've outgrown that place. And you need to go to another place where you can grow some more. Okay. And so a lot of times we like to stay in these old places because our friends are there, our family is there. Maybe our family's been there a long time. This is our family church. Hey, our grandfather started the church, or grandmother was part of starting the church, and their names are outside on the building. I just want people to understand that it's okay to leave those spaces. It's okay to leave those places. Okay. And so I think it's important to relieve ourselves and
Yeah.
understand that we don't stay there. Okay. Because if they're not offering us anything, if we're not growing, we're not stretching, then I believe we have to leave those spaces and places. Okay. Oh, we're at 4,000, y'all. We're at 4,000. All right.
We're
So,
almost there, Bishop. We're almost
yeah,
there.
we'll know when the Trump people come in the room. We'll know. They always bother us, don't they? And
Uh-huh.
so Black Lives Matter. Okay. So I just think that sometimes we have to allow ourselves to be okay with leaving those spaces and places that we have grown out of, but maybe have a history with. And that's like, let me give an example. That's like if you have a history with an abuser, and that person abuses you every time uh, you're in their presence, every time you see them. But you say, hey, this is where my history is. And so, I got to stay here with the abuser. Even though they're abusing me, this is where my history is. This is where my connection is. And this is what I know. But at some point,
Mm-hmm.
you got to release yourself
You
from being.
got it, Bishop. 5,000.
Okay, we got 5,000. Hey, thank y'all. Thank y'all. Okay. And so, yes, I'm glad I answered that about it being okay to leave. It is okay to leave because, some places you just got to move from. You just got to move. And if you're moving for growth, if you're moving because the people refuse to grow and you're growing and you've learned more, that's an excellent reason. Or if the people are abusing you, that's an excellent reason to leave. Okay. But don't feel like you have to stay just because your cousin, your sister, your uncle, your grandma, your granddaddy, whoever's there, because their situation may be different from yours. And sometimes when our friends are abused too, they don't want to leave and we want to stay to support them. But you got to do what's best for you. Okay. And so I want to free y'all tonight and say it is okay to leave. Both left after 27 years and now with my best friend of 42 years. Amen. Amen. And so I want to free somebody tonight and let you know it is okay to leave. I used to, before I began to pastor and before I became a bishop, I was an associate pastor at this church. And a couple of people kept telling me, I'm just here because my mama's here. I'm just here because my grandmama's here. Because I'm really not getting anything out of this service. Every Sunday, I dread coming here. I'm not growing. I'm not getting
Mm-hmm.
anything. But I got to come because it's my mama's church. And I would always say to them, why are you coming just because it's your mama's church? Don't you see your mama every day? And I understand you need to be in church with your mom. I understand that. But if you're not growing, if this church is not doing anything for you, do you think God would still want you to be here?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the hardest thing for some of them to get. Okay. And so I need y'all to get it tonight. My cousin even did that. One of my cousins, our family church, she said, well, I don't really want to leave. I know my mom is going to be mad if I leave the church, but I'm getting so much out of this other church. I love going over there. I feel like I'm growing. I feel like I'm learning more about the word of God. And, I'm just so happy when I'm over there. I said, well, why are you coming back? She said,
Yes.
I know my mom is not going to want me to leave. And, now my husband is a deacon. I said, that don't have nothing to do with you. You have to go where
Mm-hmm.
you're being fed. So I'm saying that to everybody tonight. You have to go where you're being fed. And I know we got this thing in the church where husband and wife, or wife and wife, or husband and husband can't go to different churches. But where is that in the Bible somewhere? Somebody help me.
No.
Okay. So
No.
I now that's different if your wife is the pastor, your husband's the pastor, you're there to support them. But if you all are just going and you trying to stay there with him or you trying to stay there with her, then I believe that sometimes you may need to go to a place where you can be, where you can grow. But I do want to say, if if that's really a breaker, a deal breaker for you, maybe that church has two services and you can go to an earlier service where you are being fed, and then maybe go there and support your significant other, if you just have to. Yes, I believe that religion. Yes, yes. And so that's why, we've just got to kind of break some of that. Break some of that.
You know
You
it's
said
time to go. I told
because
somebody, you know it's time to go when you're ashamed to witness to people because you don't want to bring new people into that mess. It's
right,
just time to go, you know?
absolutely,
So, like, this is, and when you leave, I had to learn this lesson. Bishop and I talked about this. When you leave, you don't have to leave feeling guilty like you let somebody down.
right.
No, it's time to be free and free indeed. You know
Yeah,
what, Shelly? I saw your comment a minute ago, Shelly, and I want to say this because I see Bishop like doing two top things since she's been coming on here. And one, obviously, she's reaching for people that have been so wounded and hurt by the church that they just went home and sat down. And
yeah,
Bishop has definitely spoken resurrection and life into multiple people, but she has also spoken courage into a lot of people till people are finally saying, I deserve to be treated better than this.
yeah.
And so, Shelly, I think you're one of those people that Bishop is speaking courage into you. I saw that also from you, Carolyn. I saw it from a couple other people. So this is your night.
Hi, Cheryl.
I'm
Yeah.
here cheering everybody on.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. And so again, it's okay to leave. If you're not being fed, it's okay to leave. But let me say this because I just heard this on somebody's live. It is not okay to gripe and complain about the church and say what they're not doing if you did not take time to participate and contribute to the activities of the church.
Amen.
Okay. A lot of times
Amen.
we gripe and complain and say what's wrong with a place and who ain't doing this, who ain't doing that. But I want to say, if you have done all you can do, and if you participated and contributed at the highest level possible, and still nothing happened, and you still feel like you're not growing, then maybe yes, it is okay for you to leave and go somewhere else. But don't be one of the people who complains and always got something negative to say, and you didn't go to anything that the church did. You didn't go to any of the
Well,
studies. You didn't go to any of the classes. You didn't participate in any of the outreach projects. You didn't contribute. You didn't ask, how can I use my gifts to be a blessing to the body of Christ? You didn't do any of that. So if you're one who did not offer your gifts, who did not participate in the activities of the church, then you should not be complaining about the church and what the church did not do and what the church is not offering. Okay.
amen.
Thank you. Who was that? Chris? Thank you. And so let me just say one last thing. Then I want to talk about the parents. You know, again, if you are not authentic and you're not out in open, then people cannot say that they know LGBT people. They can't say they know LGBT professionals, and they definitely can't say that they know LGBT people who actually have a true relationship with God. And so, you showed up and nobody was there. Look, that's a bad church now. If nobody showed up and you,
Amen.
but you know, you are the ones who will give people an opportunity to know positive things about persons in the LGBT community. And so if you're not authentic, then how can they say I know an LGBT doctor? How can they say I know an LGBT judge? I know there's some judges
Mm-hmm.
out there. How can they say I know an LGBT elected official, LGBT senator, LGBT congressperson if you're not authentic? How can they say I know an LGBT nurse, a nurse practitioner if you're not authentic? How can they say, I know a trans congressperson in Virginia? I remember there was a trans woman that was elected to, I think, the Senate over there. I don't live in Virginia, but I think it was the Senate. And it was historic because no other trans person had been openly trans. Thank you, Chris Manassas. Sure was. No other openly trans person had been elected to that office before. And so that's why, again, the press secretary is historic because no LGBT person or Black person has been in that position, Black LGBT individuals. So we're so proud again of Corrine. Um, uh, and so, it's important to be authentic. Now, in all spaces, people are not going to appreciate you, but you have to be in environments and you have to ask your workplace to work on diversity. They should have some sensitivity training, they should
Mm-hmm.
have some training. And if that is not a diverse workplace, maybe you should consider if you should turn in your resume somewhere else, your curriculum vitae somewhere else. But you always want to be in a diverse work environment where they celebrate all people, where they honor and recognize all people, and they're not judging you or discriminating against you or putting laws in place to allow people to disgrace you in any type of way while you're on your job. And so that's important. Again, you have to demand rights in your workplace if they're not already there. And so, again, don't allow people to walk over you. Don't allow hate crimes to happen to you. You have to stand and be the voice for you if there's nothing in place already. And sometimes that's difficult to do. I do understand that. But we have to make people change the rules because oftentimes they're not going to change them on their own. Just like African Americans, we have realized we have to make people change the rules because they ain't gonna just change the rules on their own because they're okay with what's happening. If all the rules are there for those who are non-black and brown, then why do they need to change anything? Until we raise our voices and say, hey, we need rights, we need equal rights, and we need things to be changed so that everybody's on the same playing field, it's not going to happen. And
May I
so
do a commercial break? May I do
yes,
a commercial break?
go
Because
ahead.
there's some people in here that are faithful when you're live, Bishop. They are faithful people in here, and they are obviously receiving from you. So, and these are the same voices that are saying, I'm not freed at my home church. I want to do a commercial break for Empowerment Liberation Cathedral and say to you, we're not trying to pull you out of your home church if you're not ready, but why don't you add Bishop in the mix of what you're hearing and receiving? and follow her on Facebook. Go to YouTube. Oh, Carolyn, I'm cracking up the little
Oh
crown.
wow, nice.
Go to YouTube. They're easy. Bishop Allyson Abrams. You can't be empowerment liberation. Listen to the word. Start getting some other spiritual nutrition into your system, and
Yes.
you will build up the courage to make the decision that you deserve. So I'm not just trying to snatch you out and say, okay, get out your home church right now. But clearly, Shelley, you're one. Black Lives Matter, you all faithfully follow Bishop when she's here. So why not come on and get a little more of this teaching that blesses you, and see what happens, because she's available. And I would start even by Wednesday night. She's teaching a series called Experiencing God, and you can interact with Bishop. Actually, even a little more so than in here. You can type in comments, questions. She has moderators stationed at every social media platform. So that's my ELC commercial for this 20-minute segment.
Thank you, Dr. K. And she is our awesome dynamic evangelist. But let me say this. I think I saw a comment. Black Lives Matter. Yes, you do have to find a church that's going to accept you, and we're so happy to accept people at a distance. Okay. Um,
Woo,
uh,
Carolyn.
for I think it's important to do that. And Shelley, special needs. A lot of churches are not there. Are not there. They're not even. They ain't there with the gay folks, so you know they're not even there with the special needs, and they're not even there with the women. A lot of them. So, I really hope that you can find a place, because it takes a special ministry to do that. I am the chair of the Mental Health Network, which is with the United Church of Christ, and I chair that board. We do have congregations. Hi, Crystal. We do have congregations that have something in place, where they have made a contractual agreement with, accepting and receiving special needs individuals into the church, children, adults, and those with mental health challenges. They have, something that they have agreed to when it comes to that. So that's not a lot of churches, but there are some. And so you would have to look. And so maybe if you go on to our website, it's mhn-ucc.org. It'll tell you there some congregations that are a part of what's called WISE. That's welcoming, inclusive, supportive, and engaged. Those countries, I mean, those churches across the country that have a covenant that says, it's mhn-ucc.org. They have a covenant that says how they will be receptive to special needs people. And so I do want you to look on that list of churches and see who those people are, and maybe one that is in your area you can go to. Okay, because most churches are not there. All right. Dr. K, if you'll put that in for me, MHN. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Um, so hopefully that helps you. But again, I want to say, for those people who are just coming in, I want to make sure that you hear me. It is okay to leave your former church and not feel that God is not pleased with you just because your family is not. Okay, because your family is one thing, and we're not trying to please them. We're trying to please God. And so, if we're not growing, if the people are mistreating us, if the people are abusing us, then it's time to go. And so, you really do have to pray about that. Okay, but when I talk about parents, I'm talking about that on the tail end of our authenticity. um, there are schools across the country that are open to LGBT parents, and them being kind and sensitive to their children, because children can be mean. How many of y'all know children can be mean? Kids are mean, okay? They're mean to other children, and they hurt other children. And so, sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not. They just say whatever, and it's unfortunate. But So there are schools that are sensitive to children who are children of LGBT parents. And you have to be authentic and you have to tell the school district, hey, this is not her godmama picking her up. This is her second mother. This is not his godfather picking him up. This is his other father. Okay. There are two fathers. Both fathers' names should be on the list of parents, people who have guardianship over this child. Both mothers' names should be on there. It's fine to put other people, but they need to know. Okay. And that's important. And I do want to say there are many LGBT parents all across the country. And I think they're doing an excellent job raising children. Now, let me say this, and we're going to be funny here just for a minute. We know lesbians got all kinds of ways of conceiving. Somebody at the church one time, and she got pregnant too. They told me, Bishop, we're gonna try for a baby. And I said, okay, y'all going to the doctor? Where y'all going? No, we're gonna do the turkey basting method. I said, well, what? So I didn't know nothing about the turkey basting method. Y'all go ahead and laugh because the bishop didn't know about the turkey basting method. So they said the guy was giving them the sperm, whoever it was that they had talked to, and they were going to, one of the partners was going to insert, or the wife was going to insert it in the other one. So this was about 10 years ago, I guess. And so 10, 12 years ago. And so I said, oh, well, y'all let me know how that works out. So they came back later. Oh, Bishop, we went to the doctor. She took the test. She's pregnant. I said, really? All right. So I do know that that works. Okay. But she's an excellent mother. And so another couple I knew, they were doing the same thing. And then another couple, they went to the doctor and oh, you had a friend that did that. Okay. They went to the doctor and the doctor was supposed to give them some type of injection. And so there are lots of ways. Look, I've learned a lot of other ways on TikTok, watching these people on TikTok. So TikTok has been a mind opener for me. Because look, I had three kids a long time ago. My youngest daughter is going to be 20, 26 this year. And so, I don't even have to worry about any of this kind of stuff. And so, but I'm always happy for people when they can, or when the men can
Yes,
conceive. Okay. So, um, you know,
Bishop. I
yes,
told uh, I told Tiffany the other day. I said, "Listen, my kids better be glad I didn't really realize I was a lesbian until later. They would have never been here." So at least I got four beautiful kids, and then we shifted.
right, 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 right. And I had a friend when I was living in Detroit. We worked together on one job, and she wanted a child, and she told this guy, "Look, I don't want you, but I do need you for one thing." And she told him just straight out, because she was a stud way back when. And she said, I just need to have a son. And so, or daughter, she was okay with either. So he, gave her the son that she wanted, and her son is now, I think he's 25 or something, but I remember when he was a baby, he was one. And so it was a wonderful thing. She's had a great time raising her son, and she's had, I think, two different partners over that period, two or three, but that's what she wanted. She's been a great mother to him. And I want to say oftentimes the community tries to say that LGBT parents are harmful or not good parents. And I want to say those who I know, and I know a lot of them, okay, men and women, they have been excellent parents to their children. And so, again, if you're not authentic and nobody knows, then they're not going to know that LGBT persons can be excellent mothers and fathers to children, can be excellent grandparents to children. And so, if you are authentic and people can see you raising your children, taking them to their sports activities, to their music activities, or to the school events, and you show up for the parents' meetings and you go on the trips as a supervisor, or you're really supporting and making sure they do these homework and they're excelling and doing very well. They're not angry and aggressive. I think they can't do anything but give you credit. And so, I just want to say again, in your authenticity, people are watching, and whether they like you or not, they have to say, Kathy has been a wonderful mother to Tiffany. Kathy has been a wonderful mother to Jacinta. Okay, that's all they say. Some of them may
Amen.
say, "You're old lesbian," but she's been a good, you know.
Amen.
Some of them, they may do that, but the whole thing is, and I'm glad you said you. Who is that? Les.
Bishop,
They,
I need
yeah.
you, because we're under your account. I need you to set her as, that's Leslie. That's our famous moderator next to
Oh,
DL. But she's not set on your account as a moderator. Now you'll never have to do it again. Every time
yeah.
she
But
comes in, she'll have that status.
how do I get her as a moderator? Admin
Touch her,
setting.
touch her picture, and then it'll
Mo-
say manage, and then you can make her a moderator.
okay, tell me her initials again. Les. Is it underscore Les?
Yes. Touch her picture.
Okay. See, I did it the hard way. I just came on
Oh,
over
okay.
LES.
Yes. Underscore LES 99. And
Okay.
then
So
she'll be set under both of our accounts.
okay. So let me touch her picture. Um.
Did a box pop up and it
And
says manage in the
oh,
corner?
yes, there it is. Okay, Les.
Okay. Yeah, she
Okay.
and DL are neck and neck on quality as moderators. They are the best.
Okay. Okay,
Hey
great.
Bishop, your Trump haters are going to be out before they have time to sit on the pew.
Look, I'm happy. I'm happy. Let's kick them. Let's watch them bounce out of here.
Because we're at almost 10,000K.
Oh wow, awesome. So we got to make 10,000 now. I like
Yes.
numbers. I like those
Yes.
even numbers. So y'all help me to get to 10,000.
And you
But
can
again,
tell. So let's type something else so Bishop can see that you're actually serving as moderator now, and then we'll be good to go. And Bishop, you were talking about lesbians that are good parents, and
yeah,
uh
yeah.
yeah,
So again, no one will know how good. Let's write
yes,
straight to. Okay. So no one will know how good of a parent lesbian women can be, or gay men can be, or transgender person can be, if you're not out, if you're not authentic, if you're not open. There's a trance that I've watched. Now I don't. This sounds strange. I'm not gonna say I watched him conceive, but he shared when he became pregnant, and he shared his entire pregnancy with everybody. And then when he was at the hospital, I'm like, Lord, we watching him at the hospital. So he was at the hospital to deliver, and we saw when after he delivered, had the baby there. We saw when they told him, that he could nurse the baby, and we've continued to watch him as the baby has grown. And so he seems to be a very caring parent, um loving parent, attentive. And but nobody would ever know a trans man could be an attentive parent, loving parent, if he was not authentic and sharing his journey with us. And so, I'm not saying go and put all your stuff on social media. I'm definitely not saying that, but I am saying, you know um let the school know if you are LGBT parents, and be sure to look for a school that is sensitive to LGBT parents and children of LGBT parents, because there are children schools out there today that are sensitive. But I also wanted to add I'm not really sure why people would think just because of someone's sexuality or who they're sleeping with that that would cause them to some way not be able to raise children. So I'm not sure where that comes from. I think that's that judgmental piece. But to say that just because someone has a woman in their bedroom and they are a woman as well, and they have decided to marry a woman, that then disqualifies them to being a good parent is ignorant at best. Okay. And so I just want people to know that if you're allies, if you are just watching, that it's important to understand that you know LGBT persons are just people in general. And so just like you have some heterosexual parents that are not good parents, you do have some LGBT who are not good parents as well. But most of them have intentionally adopted children or either had their own children, and they have been good parents to their children. And so we want to make sure that we acknowledge those LGBT persons that we see doing well with their children. Okay. And some of the heterosexual kids come over to the LGBT parents' house. Okay. So just like you went to your friends'
Yes,
parents' houses, they come over there too. Cause look, their parents know, oh, she gonna take care of my child while she's there. My child is gonna be fed. They going to the movies, they going skating, they going everywhere. Okay.
yes.
Or they know he gonna take care of my kid while he there. Okay. So let's just be real. It's about the kids, and it's making sure that they are loved, they are nurtured, and they get what they need. And so if LGBT parents are the people to do it, then that's a wonderful thing. Okay. And so if any of you are LGBT parents, kudos to you. Kudos to the job you've done. If you had to raise your children on your own, and hopefully, you are an inspiration to others to know that you can be LGBT, and it's not like the people tell you, oh, if you're LGBT, you can't procreate, you can't have no kids. That's not true. Okay, that's some of that old stuff from the church. Okay,
Yeah.
you're LGBT and you desire to have a child today, you can have one. Okay, look, we see the trans people having children. Okay, so if you LGBT, if you desire to have a child, raise a child, there are many ways that you can have a family. And any of y'all watch Noah's Ark? Any Noah's Ark folk in here? I remember when I can't think of their names at the moment. These two guys, they wanted to have a baby, and the folks looked at them like they was crazy because the two married gentlemen gay men wanted to have a baby. But I thought they did a wonderful job with that baby. They didn't let nothing happen to the baby. If you looked wrong at the baby, you was in trouble with them. Okay, so they were very protective. They were very good fathers, and it was just a wonderful thing to watch. And they had a whole community. Um, they had a whole community to support them, and so it wasn't just them; it was them and their friends. And their friends knew, hey, if they got a baby, you need to be watching the baby, taking care of the baby too. And so that's always wonderful when you have a village to help you raise your child. Um,
That's a good thank you up front from sharing
I
that.
I
Uh,
couldn't say it.
she said two of her son. Two. I'm saying. So what? Tell us what the transition is because I can't really see your picture. So let me make sure I get it correctly. But the comment is two of my sons are having problems with my transition. But my
Okay,
gay son loves bringing his friends around.
okay, okay. And I think that is something that people have to uh, get help from the counselors from, because let me say, uh, there's a loss there. And so when you transition, oftentimes your children are experiencing a loss. And so I would say therapy could help everybody to move through that process. Okay. And so, if you all did not go to therapy together and they did not have individual therapy, that would be my suggestion as to how to possibly deal with that. I don't want to say resentment, but them not being happy about the transition.
May I tell you with some small humor? My daughter Tiffany came out just a few years ago. Now I knew she had other same sex relationships, but she hadn't totally come out until a few years ago. And her older son Shamar, well, both of her sons completely accepted, but her older son Shamar, he was the funny one because he was like, so she came out as a stud. She came out as a full scale stud, and Shamar said, Dag, Mom, now we can trade clothes. He said, I like that shirt right there.
That was
That's
a nice way to look at it.
yeah, so they were happy about it because their mom had some good looking clothes that the guys wanted.
Yeah, yeah, that's a nice way to look at it. That's a nice way to look at it. But I'm glad is that up front. I can't really read the name. Hopefully you all will be able to do some of that therapy counseling, because I believe that you have to have someone where you can put all of those things on the table, deal with all of those feelings, who can help you all to navigate through all of that together.
Commercial break.
Oh, sure. Come on with the commercial, honey. Come on.
Commercial break.
Come on,
Up
doctor.
from nothing. Up from nothing. Listen to me. The answer is right there drinking water out of a blue bottle. Listen. Bishop's vision is, and I'll let her pick it up. Bishop's vision is not just a church vision. She is, matter of fact, we have re-nicknamed her. She is the people's bishop because she's all about community, and she's all about people. Listen to me. Bishop has a wellness center, and there are groups that meet every Tuesday and Thursday at noon, and then there's some other stuff, but she can also give you recommendations or referrals or whatever the correct word is for a therapist. So I'm gonna be quiet and let Bishop finish my commercial. But up from nothing, the answer is sitting right in front of you.
Well, yeah, we offer therapeutic individual and group therapy. However, I would suggest where you are located, if you can go in person, I believe in person sessions would be better for you at this time, because I need, sometimes guys can be a little difficult, and I believe that you want to have those gentlemen in the same space so that the therapist can feel the energy. Not that they can't feel it through the computer, but I really would suggest that. Now, if you can't do that there where you are, then I would say by all means, uh, you know, contact us. We would be glad to get you some assistance. But oh, see, you're in Cali. Is that where you are?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and so I need you to go in person, if possible. Okay, because this is something that is probably painful for your sons that are not gay, and even possibly for your one that is, but he's just more resilient and making the adjustment. But I really do feel that you all need to go in person and sit in person with that counselor or with that therapist. Not that we don't want you, because we do, but I want you to be in person. And with us, you would have to be by Zoom or by another video platform with the doctors. So please let us know how that works out, because again, I believe that your sons are experiencing a loss, and they're grieving that, and it's difficult, and so they should be have the right to put all of their feelings on the table, and to talk about what they feel, what they're experiencing, and you have a right to talk about what you feel and what you're experiencing as well, and somewhere love will have to prevail. Okay, but you can't get to that without going through all of this stuff first. And so that's why you need that person to be there with you in person. Okay. And
I
so
have
that's,
a question.
yeah.
Up from nothing. How is your partner handling what's going on with the sons?
And Shelly, you're saying how much would a therapist cost in the church? Well, the therapists are not, let me say, connected to the church. Our therapists are connected with our Justice Wellness Center. It's called Empowerment Justice Center Wellness Center. And so
Ah,
that's where they're connected to.
she said her partner is a therapist, so she
No, her
understands.
partner cannot do therapy at home. So her
Right.
partner can't counsel them at all. So
Yeah.
she's a favor. That's where she needs to stay. They have to have somebody who's outside, who is a neutral person.
Yes.
So yes, if she's a therapist, that's good. She understands, but still, she has to be a neutral. It needs to be a neutral person. Um, and so Shelley, the therapist would determine how much they would charge you because again, we have psychologists, we have counselors, and that's what they do. So they have their own, they take your insurance and all of that. So that's what they do. Oh, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom, so much. And so again, I think it's important for us to realize that LGBT persons are excellent parents, but we're still people. And so some people, yes, don't have the parenting thing down, but we can't say that's all LGBT persons. However, people will never know how good LGBT parents are if you're not authentic, you're not letting people know we're two moms bringing our son to school. We're two dads bringing our daughter to school. Okay. So they'll never know if you don't say anything, especially on the paperwork at the school. And then if you say, oh, well, her godmother is coming to get her, but that's her second mama, then how do they know that that's the second mama when she come in the office? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So to be honest, we've got to be honest and
No,
authentic.
say hello.
Okay. But
Hey.
hi. We have to be honest and authentic. But again, if you are working in spaces where they have not had any diversity training, if they have not done any sensitivity training, then you have to be the person that demands that those things happen in your workplace. Okay, because as things get worse, we're going to have to make even more demands. Okay, and so we need to, right now, while we have an administration that does believe in sensitivity training and that does believe in, diversity, we need to demand those things in our workplaces. Okay. And if you're being mistreated in any type of way because you are authentic, and if the people, you're in Delaware, okay, please come down. We come to Delaware often. They have Rehoboth over there, Rehoboth Beach. Um, if you're in a place where they are being discriminatory against you, look into if you can file a complaint against them, or first ask about, has there been any diversity training? Is there any sensitivity training? If not, will there be any? Okay, but it's important to be authentic. That's all I can say. Dr. K, I don't want to talk the whole time, so I want you to jump in and say something. Then I'll come back around because I know the people came to hear you.
I'm,
They came to talk.
no, no. They listen. I'm first impressed. Y'all help the bishop out a little bit. We're at 9,800 likes.
Yes,
So let's go ahead and push it to 10,000. Oh, Bishop, my sister friend for life, Mima
can
nine
you
and six came
can you
in.
can you
Me,
put out 980? I want you to dismiss them. Thank you.
yeah,
People,
Mima 9 and 6. She is look, that's my sister friend. She is one. I never knew Mima till I came on TikTok, and we are just sister friends for life. We talk on the phone. We laugh. She's in New Mexico. She and her husband own one of those great big ranches where people come to hunt. And Bishop, let me tell you, because you're into real estate. They have 60,000 acres in New Mexico, and includes a lodge where people come and do hunting trips and stuff. But Mima told me long time. She said, "I've been rich and I've been poor, and they're about the same." she, she said, "You got to know who you are. You got to know how to go forward in life." And but she's one of the COVID long haulers, and
Oh wow.
she had a family. She had a family member come out very recently, a younger person. That would be up to her to tell who it is specifically. But she called me, and so with that, you know what? She put on a rainbow bracelet, and she said, "I just want that person to know that I'm safe for them." And so just beautiful, because it's not the parenting you've talked about it. Grandparents are involved. The whole family is involved, and you've
Yeah.
talked about it. And I appreciate and respect your stance. Don't send your kids. That's so confusing for a child. You're with the two moms or the two dads, or all week, and then they go to grandma and grandpa's for the weekend, and they go to church where they preaching that gay people are going to hell, or whatever it may be. And so it's too confusing for the children. That's not fair, and sometimes you have to kind of lock it down to your immediate.
Okay. Moderator to be on it. I just blocked two people, and so moderator, I need you looking at these comments. Okay, go
Okay.
ahead, Doctor.
Okay.
Go
Oh,
ahead,
I just
Doctor K.
and I see somebody else that needs to be blocked, so let me take care of this one. Block, confirm, and then we're going to mute all their comments, so we're not going to have their nastiness in the room for anybody else to see it. There we go. Problem
Okay.
solved. So so Mima is she has just become, she's a precious friend from, and it's from being on TikTok. I've met so many incredible people. As a matter of fact, Mima has been my background voice this whole journey. When I first met you, Bishop, and I'm calling Mima, I said, "Mima, girl, this I'm following this Bishop on TikTok," and I said, "She just got some good stuff to say." And recently, when she and I talked, she said, "Girl, I've been knowing you're gay. You didn't."
I love that. Love that.
She said, "You just go and be you."
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And that's what people need, is supportive friends. But let me add this, because you just reminded me of something else I wanted to say. And I need y'all to get all y'all gay friends in here for this. So share this live and let y'all gay friends know that, we're talking about those who are parents. It's very disturbing to me when those who are LGBT parents, I think I've mentioned this before, let their children go to their parents' or grandparents' houses that are not supportive of LGBT individuals. And so what happens is you cause conflict in that child by sending that child to that parent or grandparent's house. I understand everybody need a break. Okay. Look, I needed a break. I had 3 kids on my own. I was a single parent. My ex-husband and I divorced. That was before I came out. And so I understand needing a break. Okay. Bishop understands needing a break. But you cannot send your kids places or children places that are going to cause conflict and turmoil within them and within their spirit, because this person over here is telling him, well, that's wrong to be gay. I don't know what's wrong with your mama. I don't know what's wrong with your daddy, but that's wrong. And I don't need you to be a part of that. And so just know, just pray every time you're at home until you can come back over here. And we're gonna make sure we cover you with oil. We're gonna make sure we pray over you, and they're doing all this stuff. And then when they get back to you, you wonder why they acting the way they acted. Okay. So do not do that to your children. I know people want their mother to know their children, the child to know the mother. But if your mother has a problem with LGBT individuals, have a problem with who LGBT people are, then you've got to look out for the best interest of your child. Okay. And so the best interest of your child is to make sure that they're not experiencing conflict, turmoil, and they're not wrestling inside over who you are and if they should love you or not, or if they should love your partner, should love your spouse. So we set those children up for those types of things, who then become angry people. So as parents, it is our responsibility to take care of the children. And so please do not set your children up for that. Okay. And so I also know that oftentimes these same parents, same grandparents, or same whoever you find that can give you a break, that often take these children to churches where they hear them say God does not like gay. God don't like the gay people being gay. And so gay is wrong. They need to be delivered. They got a devil, they got a demon, they got all this stuff. So then your child is wondering, does my mama have a demon? Does my daddy have a demon in him? Does God not like him? And then that gives them some kind of feelings about what they think. Well, my dad is always nice to me, and I don't know about this God if he don't like my daddy, or he don't like my mama. So let's be mindful of where we are sending our children and where we're allowing them to go when they go over there. Because people think they're doing a good thing by taking your kid to church, but they're taking your kid to a church that is not affirming, that is preaching against gay folks, and then they know that they're preaching against their parent. So sometimes you got to say, no, they can't go. Okay, and if you don't have a community to support you and give you some time off, then maybe find some other gay children, or gay parents, or people who go to an affirming church, and maybe they can spend time with them. But you have to be careful where you are allowing your children to go and what they're hearing when they go to these places. Okay, because I'm saying that not because somebody told me. I had a young lady at my church some years ago. This must have been about 5, 6 years ago. And it really bothered me that she allowed her children to go to her mother's house, and her mother told her to her face she didn't like her being gay, and told her that she didn't like her partner, and was not going to talk to her partner. Her partner was not welcomed at her house. But she allowed her children to still go to her mother's house and spend the weekends. And her mother was going to a church that was not affirming, was not welcoming, and always talked against being gay. So her children on the weekends now was getting this. But then the mama saying, respect my partner, love her. She's being good to you. Okay, but y'all can't see the wrestle that comes in with that,
Mm-hmm.
the confusion that's set up
Mm-hmm.
there. Because grandmama say this now, and grandmama took us to the church, and the church is saying this, and they say God said this, and then I come back over here with you, and this what you saying. And so, we've got to take better care of our children. And so that really disturbed me. I have another member who was doing that, and I told her, look, don't put your child through that. And so, mamas, they want, I understand that you want your kids to know the grandparents. The grandparents want to know your kids, but sometimes you got to put your foot down. Do not say anything against being LGBT with my child. If you do, she won't come back, or he won't come back, or they won't come back. You just got
Amen.
to, you have to set some boundaries with people with where they're going. Sweet Reese is in the house. Okay. You have to set some boundaries. And so it's important to set these boundaries and let them know they have to respect you, your choices, your decision about your children. And do not take them to any of these churches that are talking against LGBT. If when they get ready to go to church, just drop them off, bring them back. Okay.
Yes.
So I need for you all to hear me tonight and tell your friends who are also gay that have children to, just be mindful, because it really does hurt the children. I'm so glad somebody said that here. It really does. It causes conflict. They worry in their spirit because they don't know. They're trying to figure this out. Should I
Yeah.
like God? Because God don't like my mama. Kids don't like folks that don't like their mama. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna like God because God don't like my mama. That's what they're hearing in the church, and that's their interpretation. And that's not true at all, because God has never said that God does not like those who are LGBT individuals. Because when we look at Bible does not present any relationships that are loving and committed relationships between same-sex individuals. And really, when you look at Bible, let me say this, y'all need to hear me tonight. When you look at Bible does not display any loving committed relationships. All the Bible relationships were about procreating or somebody keeping the lineage going in a family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, talk
Yes.
about committed relationships. There are no examples of those. There are no examples of people just falling in love with somebody or people being attracted to somebody or y'all developed a relationship. Either you was promised to somebody or you are going with somebody to keep a lineage, a certain line, a certain bloodline going, or either it's about the procreation. It's not about who you loving. Yes, it was
Yes.
transaction. So, today that's foreign. You talking about you love somebody. You're gonna be with them because you love them. That wasn't biblical. So, examples of loving committed relationships, especially same sex, that was nowhere in biblical days. So how can you say that people who are in loving committed relationships today that are same sex, that's Bible is against that? It does not, there's nowhere that it says that.
Yes.
Now, the
Yeah.
Bible is against the prostitution that was occurring. The Bible is against the sex slaves and things that were happening between families, often by the Canaanites. They had these practices that were not good practices. Okay, but it is not anywhere speaking against people who are in same sex, loving, committed relationships. So we got to get ourselves together today.
Yes.
Okay? And I just need y'all to know the truth because people ain't teaching the truth out here. But when you look at it, you have every right to be in a same sex relationship. You have every right to have children, and you have every right to raise your children the way you decide to. And so you have to set boundaries when your children go places and let them know this is what is acceptable for them and what is not. And if they too young to tell you what's happening over at grandma's house, then maybe they don't need to be going. Because little babies, little kids, even though they may not be able to reiterate or explain everything, they're still taking it in. And so it's still your job as the parent to protect that child. Okay.
Bishop, a question for
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how you may say we'll talk about that another day. I don't know, but this has been on my heart since yesterday to ask you.
Okay.
And it's kind of an odd parallel, but it's going to make sense. I know that when I was a prison chaplain, I had a lot of guys that came to me and they would say, Chaplain Williams, I only know how to be a thug. And so they had never been in a decent relationship. And then there
Yeah.
they were, with their life cleaned up spiritually, and they knowing they can't go after the same thing they always went after before when they were pursuing someone. And so my question to you is, how do you guide or counsel someone in the gay community, whatever their identity is, to beginning to walk in godly relationships? Am I making sense? Dating, I don't, am I making sense? Instead of
I
I've heard
think I
you use, I've heard you use backpack humor. So, if you're getting delivered from the from the this one and this one and this one and this one lifestyle and saying, okay, I'm trying to line my life up to what God wants me to do. Uh, I don't know. Am I making sense?
I think so. Hey, Ladybug, I was wondering was you coming in here tonight? Um I want to say that I appreciate the people who said that's all they know is being a thug. I can appreciate that because you're being honest and you're honest with yourself and you're not delusional. We got a whole bunch of delusional people out here today. But just because you're a thug does not mean that you don't know how to be a loving individual. Okay, and so I've seen some roughnecks be very kind to their children and very kind to the significant other that they were with. However, they might not be kind to everybody in the community, but they know how to respect their mamas, and, they do know how to be kind when needed. And so I think that that person, see, sometimes we have this fantasy about what is a godly relationship.
Yes.
Okay, and thank you to for Mother's Day wishes. Um, I think we have this fantasy about what a godly relationship is, and I believe, yes, the church has done an okay job convincing us that God expects us to live a certain way, and there's a certain I guess, picture which we all are trying to live up to. However, I don't know that I agree that that is necessarily scripturally based, because if those couples during biblical days were not couples that married for love, they were not couples that married because they desired to marry, because somebody else brought them together, and where is the example there? Okay. So when you talk about thinking outside of the box and thinking about, what the church has dropped on us or placed in our spirit, and we talk about we trying to model something, what exactly are we modeling? Because those people, those were arranged marriages. Those were marriages for bloodlines, and they were transactional, as we heard before, and so we should not be modeling that. So we should just make sure that both individuals are committed to God. And if one doesn't know God, surely one can come to know God. And if people are in relationship with God, then I think they would be in better relation with each other. And if they are growing and reading the word together and studying together and praying together, I don't think there's any godly marriage, not in that term, in the term in which we think, because people often want to make things so religious till it just
Right.
makes me some days. I think that when we really look at it, we're still trying to figure all of this out. And so I'm definitely not modeling David and his wife, because he had a whole bunch of them, and not modeling who was it, Ruth and Boaz. I ain't modeling that, because no. And so when you look at who are you modeling, I think we're just asking God to help us each day to be the best we could be, and to be loving, kind, and compassionate. That's what I teach in my marital counseling. Are you compassionate with the individual that you're saying you want to spend the rest of your life with? Because if you're not compassionate, I don't think that you're ready to be a spouse. Because how are you going to be nice to other folks and not nice to the person that you say you love? Okay. And I also teach in my marital counseling about being forgiving. Are you forgiving? How are you going to forgive other folks and don't forgive the one you say you love? Okay. And so I believe that there's certain things that we display in our marriages, but all of this godly marriage and godly this and that, I'm not sure that that is necessarily scripturally correct. And so as long as you're displaying certain characteristics that God, I believe, ask us to show to one another, I believe that we're doing it right. And so if you're not being compassionate to your significant other, I don't care if you're married to them or not. If you're not being compassionate, you need to work on it. Okay. And if you're not forgiving them, because everybody makes mistakes. Okay. You are making a whole bunch of mistakes. So why, if you need forgiveness, why can't you forgive somebody else? Okay. And then when we talk about kindness, I have to say this in all of my marital counseling sessions, because I always, folks are not kind. Okay, when you've been together for a while, folks start taking people for granted and all that kind of stuff, and it's easy to do. Let me not make it seem like it's not, but you have to intentionally make sure you're not doing that. And so after tonight, you have to work on this. Okay, but it doesn't take anything for you to be kind to your significant other. Okay, maybe Dr. Cat need to come on and do counseling sessions with folks, or talk about what I talk about in my counseling sessions. But it doesn't take anything for you to be kind. Okay, my wife
Hmm.
is one of the kindest people. Okay, she doesn't have to, but she'll if she know I need some water to drink, she will get up and give me some water. Okay, and that is kindness on her part. If I know that she needs something to eat or something to drink, and I'm up, or I don't even have to be up. If I see she needs something, I'll get up and get it. That's kindness. And so why can't you be kind to the one you say that you love? I don't understand it today. And people are just not
Hmm.
kind to one another. And so what is happening to kindness today? Somebody help me understand. Because it doesn't cost you anything to be kind to somebody. It doesn't hurt you in any way to be kind to somebody. It doesn't make you less than to be kind to the one you say that you love. Okay, I didn't put that in you. You said it. Okay, so kindness is important. Whether you've been with them 5 months, whether you've been with them 5 years or 50 years, you should still be kind to them. Okay, hi, infinitely blessed. You should still be kind to them. And so it doesn't cost us anything to be kind. Okay. And then also, does it cost you or hurt you to compliment somebody every now and then? Okay.
Hmm.
Say something nice. Y'all always griping and complaining about something. Say something nice. Say, I really like this meal you cook, because they ain't have to cook you nothing. You can get up and get it yourself. Okay. But they cooked you something, and you want to gripe and complain about it. Let's not do that. Okay.
Yes.
Let's be kind and offer compliments. Okay. And then
Yes.
you you need help to get to the car. Some of y'all got some problems. We're gonna talk about it. Your foot hurting, your leg ailing you, your back hurting, whatever is wrong with you. And they help you. Okay. So let's be kind. Let's say thank you. Every now and then. That does help. It
Yeah.
goes along. And so I think it's important to thank the other person when they take time out to care for you. All right. I think that's important. And so I always tell the couples that I counsel, you need to work on kindness, and you need to make sure that you're working on forgiveness. I don't care how hard it is. Some folks come to me, Dr. K, they say, Bishop, no, that's just too much. I can't forgive that. I said, oh, okay. Now, what did God say about forgiveness? And
Whoop.
God forgiving you for anything? I just need that. And so, you just have to put it out there like that. 54 Ladybug, she know. Just got to put it, okay. You got to put it out there and let people know, look, you have done a lot of things and God has forgiven you. And so, since God can forgive you, surely you can forgive somebody else.
Oh,
Okay.
Tom, 42 years. Oh,
All right, Tom. And so, we have to be kind, we have to be loving. And when I say loving, let's not, uh, you know, say ugly things. And I have to get on couples about this all the time. Don't call anybody out their name, because I've seen people do it.
amen.
Okay, I've seen people do it, and I'm always so turned off by that. Hey, we're at 11,700. Okay, all right,
Oh,
so we
wow.
got 12. But I'm always so turned off when I see a married couple calling each other out of their name in public places. Okay. Yes, you might be upset. Yes, somebody may have pushed your buttons. Yes, somebody may have done something that they know you don't like or whatever. But is that any reason to call them out of their name, call them all kinds of inappropriate, disrespectful names? Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Not a reason
Yes.
for that. And so
Yes.
if we are loving and if we love each other, we should not do that. Okay.
Yes.
And nobody's anybody's parent. Let me say that. Oh, did we get to 12,000? Thank you, everybody.
Yes, for over 12,000.
Not parent. So you have no right to put your hands on anybody. Okay.
Oh,
Nobody has any right to put up their hands on anybody. If their mama didn't raise them right, their daddy didn't raise them right, you knew that when you met them, you knew it when you married them. So you have no right to put your hands on them. Okay.
Yes.
So, those are some of the things I talk about when I counsel couples and help them, you know, decide if they're going to go ahead and go to the altar. But, we have to be, we have to be loving. We've got to be kind. We have to be compassionate, and we have to be forgiving because people make
Yeah.
mistakes. We're all human. And if you think you ain't made none, if you think that you the best thing since sliced bread, honey, let me tell you, somebody lied to you. Okay, somebody lied to you because you got
Yes.
problems. You got faults. Okay, if you perfect. Didn't I say this before, Dr. K? If you perfect, you on your way out of here.
You're
God
on
is
your
about
way.
to name. God is about to call your name because you have finished your work, finished your course. Okay,
Bishop,
and
my
yes, go ahead.
parents were married. My mom and dad were married 66 years when my mother
Mm,
died. And they
wow.
had never stopped being boyfriend and girlfriend. Were always, they were best friends. And you know what? You talked about forgiveness.
Yeah.
About 6 years ago, I came face to face with a classmate from grade school that had brought great harm to my life. And I walked up to him and just with total peace, I shook his hand and I said, "How you doing?" And he said, "I'm okay. How are you?" I said, "I'm doing well." And I said, "See, you got a new great grandbaby coming." Blah, blah, blah. So I leave. Don't think anything more about it. A couple days later, I'm driving to work, and the Lord spoke to me and said, "Don't act like you did something big because you forgave him." And we play. I was like, "What, Lord? What?" And then God spoke to me and said, "Do I need to get your list out?" Oh,
Oh,
no,
uh-oh. Uh-oh.
no, I'm good, Lord.
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm
Yes.
good.
Well, that was great that you forgave him, and people need forgiveness. Don't mean you got to go talk to them. Don't mean you got to be friends with them, but you can forgive them for what they have done.
Amen.
Um, Infinitely Blessed says, I saw a couple attempting DV in the Walmart. It was so disturbing. Yes. And when you see them in person doing those things, it just really bothers your spirit. It is unsettling because you know it doesn't have to be that way. And sometimes you just want to tell the sister, look, girl, come on. Or you want to tell the brother, honey, come on, it's not even worth it. But we got to mind our business. I do always believe that. And But it doesn't mean that you don't have to pray for them as you're walking by. And so I believe that we can always do that. Ask the angels to encamp around them and touch them, touch their minds, so that they can come to their right mind and not be violent towards each other. That's just like I said about leaving the church. It's okay to leave, and it's okay to leave a violent relationship. Okay, domestic violence is never acceptable. Assault is never acceptable, and especially when you're doing those things around your children. You don't have to accept it. Somebody needs to take their power back. I guess that's why we had to talk about it. Somebody needs to take their power back and use your power to walk away from that abusive relationship. Okay. And it's hard to do. But establish a support system and make sure that when you're ready to walk away, when you've had enough, that your support system is there to catch you. Okay, and to bring you to a space where that person can't come and convince you to come back, because that's what they always do. They always come with a good story. They even come with gifts. Anybody know they come with gifts? They come with gifts, and they want to convince you to come back. But I just think that, it's okay to leave. And I need to tell somebody that today. It's okay to leave. It's okay to move to the next place. It's okay to be on your own. Because, again, as I said, you had a mother, father. If you didn't have those, you had a grandmother, grandfather, uncle, aunt, somebody, maybe the older brother or sister that did raise you. If you were raised in the system, somebody raised you. And nobody has a right to put their hands on you, trying to force you or be in charge of you or be in control of you. Okay? We're all adults, we're all individuals, and you have every right. that to make your own decision, your own choices, and to be who you want to be. And so I need to tell you tonight, it's okay to leave those abusive relationships, those controlling relationships. And let me say this, and I didn't even plan to talk about this, Dr. K, but um, there are signs that are there in the beginning that will let you know where this relationship is going to go. And so, if there's a person that does not want you to talk with your friends or tries to isolate you or move you away from all of the people, your support system, doesn't want you around them, and they tell you, oh, I love you, I just want to spend all this time with you. No, that's a person who is controlling, and eventually
Yes.
they have the possibility or capacity to become abusive. And so,
Yes.
verbally abusive, or whether it's physically abusive or emotionally. So just beware and be aware of the signs. We all feel good when they tell us, oh, I want to spend all this time with you. Oh, I just want to be around you. I want to be with you all the time. Oh no, don't go with your friends. Cancel with them and tell them you're not coming with them anymore. And don't do that. I want us to spend all our time together. Okay, anybody who wants to cut you off from everybody and wants to cut you off from your family, cut you off from your friends, cut you off from all of your support systems, that's a person who is strategically setting you up to control you and possibly even violate you. Okay? So I
Yes.
just want y'all to be mindful of what the signs are. We always want to feel like, oh, he loved me so much, or she loved me so much. Girl, she want to spend all her time with me. No. They need to
Yes.
have some friends and some other outlets and other places to go, just like you need to keep your friends and other outlets and places to go. Okay? So I need you to make sure and yes, Carolyn, yes, that's very important. You need to make sure you don't ever allow anybody to cut you off from everybody. Okay?
Yes.
And
You
so
know what,
sweet.
Bishop? I, I
Yes.
mentioned I mentioned the other day when we talked that I have written poetry down through the decades now to process life. And I can't obviously remember it all, nor would I quote it if I did, but I wrote a poem once called Mistaken Identity. And
Yeah.
the poem said something like, the black eye fooled me. I thought it was mine. You know, the bruises tricked me. I thought they belonged to me. But then I learned the lesson. He was his and I was his. There was no more me, only him. It was simply a case of mistaken identity.
Wow.
Abuse absorbs who you are till you don't know who you are anymore. You
Right.
are no longer your own. And
Yeah.
so again, for me, poetry writing has always been one of my ways to put down what I was feeling with a situation. And another one I wrote was called Inside the Opposite Wall. That's what it felt like, just to get slapped. You feel like you've been pushed inside the opposite wall, which of course doesn't exist. There's no way. But it's definitely an experience. I'm a survivor of that and very grateful for that. Very, very, very grateful for that. I
Yeah.
enjoy, I enjoy being an empowered, intelligent woman.
Yeah. Took power back.
Yes, yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
And, I encourage everybody tonight, if you have a friend who is in a domestic violence situation or domestic violence relationship, just support them, but always let them know when you're ready to take your power back, this is what you need to do. Because they can't come out of that till they're ready.
yes,
But you need to know that there are people there for them when they are ready to come out of that. Okay. But don't stop talking to them. Don't stop
yes,
talking to them, telling them, you don't deserve this. You don't, yeah, hashtag DV survivors. You don't deserve this. You don't have to be treated this way. And there are people who will love you for you, because what they do is they get in your mind and manipulate you and make you think nobody else is going to love you, and that nobody's going to love you because of whatever they have told you is wrong with you. And so I just need people to know you can take your power back.
yeah. Bishop, I believe I believe you're rolling up to 15,000 on the likes. Come on,
Wow.
people. Let's
Okay.
go ahead and get it
Let's
there. Let's go ahead and get it
now.
there.
Okay, so emotional abuse changed who I am. It has been years, and I am still not the person I used to be. Yes, so that's what Dr. K just said. You lose you. It's the hardest thing in the world to get out. They need support to do it. Absolutely. Yes. And so that's why I'm saying don't stop being a friend. Don't stop being there. Let them know that when you're ready, I'll be here. That don't mean you're gonna sit around and watch them abuse them, but you do have to stay in contact with them. Okay. Um, and so again, lastly, I want to recap a few things for maybe people who just came in. We talked about not letting your kids, your children, go with anybody and go anywhere because it impacts them, it impacts their emotional state, it impacts their mental state, and believe it or not, their spiritual state. And so you've got to, as the parent, make sure that they are going places where people are not talking against you and your relationship, and where people are not telling them that God hates you and hates your relationship. Okay, so we don't want to send our children into those type of environments because it causes conflict and turmoil inside of them. And so after so long for wrestling with that, they began to act out and do a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so we don't want to send our children into those types of environments. Okay, those of you who may have younger children, I want you to make sure you get this. And then it's okay to leave those churches that are not willing to grow, not willing to evolve, not willing to stretch and recognize where the world is and even where the Bible is. And so I want you to know it's okay to leave those places, even if that's your mama's church. Okay. Let me tell y'all, at the age of 16 or 15, I forget how old I was, and I've always been a very bold person who believed in exercising freedom upon principle. And so I was, of course I wasn't out at that point, but I felt there was another church I wanted to be at. And my family's church, I was going there every day, but there was a pastor who really was speaking to me, and I've always been an intellectual. There was a pastor whose words were speaking to me, and I just felt so full every time I went over there. He was an intellectual, and I just felt that was a church for me. So what did I do, Dr. K? I joined. I joined the church. Okay, and I came home, told my mom I joined this church. What? You joined another church? Lord, they called the whole family, Dr. K, and told them she had gone and joined another church. I said, I thought y'all said if you heard from God, if God was speaking to you and you felt led, that you supposed to join the church. That's what I did. Oh man, they were so upset. My father was living at that time. He actually cried about me joining another church that was not the family church. Now, first of all, you ain't even going to church. What you crying about?
Right.
My father came to church on Father's Day and Men's Day. Okay. But I'm like, why are you crying and you ain't even going to church? So anyway, I did not budge on my thing because they was like, well, you don't need to go over there. I did not budge on mine. I was like, well, look, this is the compromise. I'm gonna go to my church because we get out in an hour anyway. Y'all still be there 2.5 hours later. So I can still do both. I'll come over there with y'all when I leave. And you better know, Dr. K, that's what I did. So we went to my church in the morning. That was Sixth Avenue Baptist Church in Birmingham. If anybody's ever heard of Sixth Avenue Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, that was the church I went to, and I was so blessed. I grew so much, okay, from being there. So then I would go to my mom's church. Look, they just get into the choir singing by the time I get over there. After we'd been in church and everything and out, I just stood around and talked to people after church and everything. The choirs just getting up to sing, okay. And so choir was getting up to sing, and then the pastor would get up and preach an hour sermon. I'm like, oh gosh, are you kidding me? So It just, I had about 5 hours of church every Sunday when I did that. But I was tremendously blessed. I grew a lot. I went to the classes that were offered at my other church, and it just really blessed me. So now I leave. Get this, Dr. K. I leave and go to college. I went to Howard University. Okay. Now, why my mother started creeping over there to the church? I Well, what you doing going over there to the church? Oh, well,
uh,
I really like his preaching because she was an intellect. She was a scholar. My mother was, and so I said, oh, so you like his preaching now? Well, I've always liked his preaching, but you couldn't go over there when I was going. But now
uh-huh.
you go there because the man is good. The pastor was excellent. Dr. John T. Porter was an excellent pastor, excellent orator, and just gifted, And you didn't have to be there all day. Okay. So then the next thing I know, one of my aunts started going about. I said, "What are you going to the church for?" Well, I just really like the choir over there, and I like the fact that
Yes.
so I had to be the fall guy. Okay. I was the one who started going over because I said the church blessed me and I was so excited, and y'all dogged me. Folks was upset, talked about, oh, how dare she go over there to that church. Now I come back to Birmingham to visit, and some of y'all, okay, I said, okay, see, that's how black people do. Okay. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. But in church, if you're not growing in the church,
That's
and
right.
if I understand it's your mama's church, it's your grandmama, granddaddy, your church has been there for 50 years, y'all started the church, okay? But
Uh,
if you're not growing, sometimes you need to trust God, and go to the next place where you are going to grow, and where God can expand you and even use your gifts. And so we can't be afraid to move from those places,
yes.
okay? And
Yes.
I think, Dr. K, that's my recap for tonight. And be authentic. Folks don't know that there are gay people working in the cubicle next to them. If you not, folks say, I don't know no gay people. I ain't got no gay.
You can't help but know
Oh,
gay people.
hello. But he didn't know you was gay. Okay, you got
You
to
know,
be.
Bishop,
Yeah,
I'm going back to your first point about the kids being around unagreeable family members. I think maybe to help push some people because they're struggling emotionally, saying, "But that's my mom, and I can't. How can I take my?" But let me ask it like this, because this is what they're doing with their words. What if you knew that every time your kids were with grandmama and granddad that they were smacking them? It wouldn't take you that long to intervene and say, "Well, wait a minute,
yeah,
wait a minute, we're not having this." But
right,
they are smacking them with
right,
their words, with their
absolutely,
heart, with the confusion in their emotions. Not quite the same setting, but I remember years ago, my grandchildren were little and I had taken them to church with me. And somebody told one of my grandsons what to do. You better believe I turned around and looked at her. I said, I don't play that whole village stuff. My grandbabies are with me. And
yeah,
if I didn't correct them, you're not gonna correct them.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
back it up, back it
yeah,
up. We gotta put on our fierce protective mode and
yeah,
say, I'm not gonna sit back quietly while you harm my child
yeah,
emotionally, psychologically,
yeah,
just and above all, spiritually.
yeah.
They're contaminating our no. We have
That's right.
to be strong enough to put on our fierce protector mode and say, no, it's going to stop right here. And we can do it sweetly. You can do it sweetly and graciously,
Yeah,
but it's your responsibility to do it.
that's right. That's right. And as I said, your job is to protect your children. And sometimes God will send you some of their friends to protect as well. Okay. Anybody know about the friends that you have to help?
Amen.
And my kids sometimes had friends that would come over that I felt their parent is not doing the right thing. And so, I need to protect these children, because if they don't get it from somewhere, they're not going to get it at all. And so I think sometimes God will have you on an assignment to help protect somebody else. Okay.
Amen.
And so let us not overlook our children and our children's friends, who may need us to help them as well, and to
Amen.
speak truth to them, and let them know, let's not judge other people, and let's not, and the church is so judgmental. Let me say this: a lot of church people are judgmental today, and it really just saddens me how we get that from the very people who are supposed to be loving. But we want to be truthful with young people and let them know that we're to be a loving people, and we also are diverse people. God did not make everybody the same. And so
Amen.
how we study that in science, do we really believe that? Everybody is not the same. What a boring society we would be, Dr. K, if everybody was the same. Okay.
Amen.
And so we just have to work on our sensitivity and work on our understanding of differences in our community. And I believe we would be in a better place. And
Amen.
let us be the community that I believe God would have us to be. And so we're going to block this gentleman,
Yeah,
uh, big
I'm on
old,
it.
okay. And so let us be the community that God would have us to be on today. Okay.
Yes.
And hey, there's Daily Dijon. And I believe that if we, again, exercise and demonstrate those principles of compassion, of love, of forgiveness, and kindness, um, we would be a better people. And so, I just want us to work on some of that, okay, in our own personal relationships, and being authentic, but also in the church, and making sure we're protecting our children. Because as I said, LGBT parents are great parents. They do a wonderful job. Like I said, if anybody
Yeah.
watching Ark, none of y'all folks said y'all watch Noah's Ark. Am I the only person that used to watch Noah's Ark in here? But it was so wonderful to see those two gentlemen with the baby that they adopted. I mean, you couldn't do nothing with that baby. You just, if you look wrong, like I told you, they was gonna come at you. Okay, and then they had a whole village. All their friends said, "Hey, we're gonna, pitch in when we need to." And so, we've got to protect the children, but don't allow your children to be exposed to harmful things. I'm not saying now, y'all didn't hear the bishop say, don't tell them what other people are saying, because that's different. You can, yes, Noah's Ark was a show. It came on, I believe, not Bravo, but Lagos, a logo, or whatever that station is, during that time. But it is important to let children know, this is what some people may think about your moms, this is what some people may feel about your dads, but this is what we believe, and this is what we subscribe to in our household, and this is the God that we know, and this is the God that we serve. The
Yes.
God we serve is an affirming God. The God that we serve is a loving God. The God that we serve is a God that created us in God's own image and God's own likeness. God says that we've all been fearfully and wonderfully made. So there's nothing wrong with your mamas. There's nothing wrong with your daddies. Nothing wrong with all the wonderful God mamas you got and all the God fathers that you have. Okay. And so,
Oh, Reese.
oh, that's so nice. And so, I just want us to make sure that we're covering children the way we're supposed. And I believe when we do a good job, they'll be wonderful adults. Not that they're not going to encounter craziness, not that they're going to not going to encounter discrimination, not that they're not going to encounter people who don't feel the same way that they do, but I believe they'll be better prepared to handle it when they've come from people who've been open and honest and authentic with them the entire time.
Amen. Hey, Bishop.
Yes.
First of all, please note the empty bottle of water.
Y'all know know she's saying that for a reason, right? Okay.
But listen, I got to. There's no way in the world I can hang out in all. I got to testify. You know, Bishop. You know, I got to say something. Y'all see my video where I was a slobbering, blubbering, crying mess. I'm telling you, hanging out with Bishop, it wrecked my world in the best way. Oh my God. In the video where you saw her praying for me, oh, that was just a little teensy pee. If I could have just been on the floor, but I said, God, please don't let me fall out this chair because ain't nobody in this building big enough to get me up. And I was and then Minister Cat, she just kept making it worse because she just wrapped me up in this hug, this Holy Ghost hug, and I got her speaking in tongues in my ear. I hear Bishop speaking in tongues and Bishop laying hands oh, whoo, good God Almighty! And then she want to preach a message about leap into your new reality. Woo, y'all! If you don't go back and watch that service, oh, go to oh my God, my world is changed. I'm changed. I'm changed for the good. Listen, y'all, I'm in my 60s. And I'm telling you, I feel like I'm 30 again in
All
terms of,
right.
we use the expression about sitting it, infinitely blessed.
Thank
We
you,
use the expression
everybody.
about sitting at someone's feet. You know, I'm sitting at the bishop's feet. I ask her questions. She keeps me busy, and I love it. But the whole time I'm talking about pride. I'm saying, well, Bishop, what do you think about this? Well, Bishop, and I'm just soaking it in and soaking it up. I'm telling y'all, if you don't have a pastor, if you do have, maybe it's time to say, God, should I change pastors? Oh, never mind. Okay, well, sorry. I'm telling you, ELC, and I'm a virtual member. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Yes.
I'm telling you, my life is richer than it has ever. And you know what I didn't realize? My oldest daughter, she's the one that says, I'm never gonna have anything to do with church. Just leave me alone. But she's the one that keeps eyeing me and telling me stuff. She said, Mom, since you've been with Bishop Abrams, you just lit up. And then I didn't know this. I kept trying to tell people, y'all, I retired 3 years ago. Have been in a 3 year depression. I just, I'm functional. Nobody knew if I didn't tell them. But Jacinta told me, she said, Mom, we kept seeing your light get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And we were really afraid it was going to go out. And then God set Bishop Abrams in your life, and you're brighter than you've ever been. Y'all,
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to cry again. Where's Deacon Stokes when I need
You're crying, buddy.
him? My crying buddy.
Yeah.
So, oh, oh, my goodness. I got more videos to make because I got more testifying to do. I said,
Y'all know they coming. Y'all know they coming, Carolyn.
yes, yes, Carolyn. Carolyn, I couldn't get home. I dropped Holly off. She lived 10 minutes from my house. It took me 3 stops to get home. I stopped by the river and just bawled like a baby. That's when I made the video. Then I stopped again. Then I stopped at the park because Bishop was tracking me to make sure I was safe. And so I thought she got to be thinking, what is she doing? She not home. And finally I texted, I said, Bishop, I can't drive. She said, take your time. Let me know when you're home safe. I can't drive, Bishop. I'm just crying. Oh, oh, whoa.
But we could all see the countenance change that happened on you that Sunday. And so Sunday on, you could just see it. And when you did a video on TikTok, you could see it. And Monday, you could still see it. I like to call that the residue of the power and presence of God that stays on you.
Yes.
So people were witnesses to that. And so people who don't believe, all they got to do is go back and look at your videos and they can see when God is on you, when God does something, how your face even changes. You know, it talks about, I think it was it Abraham whose face was white? And, you know, I believe that's what they were describing, some type of countenance change that occurred with him. And so, you know, people could see that on you. It
I
was
Several people said that on my video, and I said, "Wow, what?" And I got to tell y'all with some humor. So I'm sitting in the chair. I'm just a wreck. Bishop had a whole church to attend to. I wasn't the only one in the building. So she went on and dismissed the service, and she told I could hear her telling the people, "If y'all gotta go, I understand, but we gonna do this." But every once in a while, I could hear her in the proximity and no, Clover, we don't believe in a goddess. And so I could hear her in the proximity, and I could just hear her saying, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." And that's all it took. Boom, I'm triggered again. And so let me take care of Clover and see. You got to know how to shout and take care of business at
right.
the same. You got to know how to stay on task and give. So I'm just I'll tell you, my yes, yes, infinitely blessed, yes, bullseye,
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
yes. He gave me beauty for ashes. So you know what? I am forever grateful. So like right now in Indiana, I'm on assignment to get some things in order. Yes, I know with certainty I'm going to move to Maryland. But there's some things God is having me put in order first here. And I can tell you this, to God be the glory. All of my children support this. All of my grandchildren support this. And so I'm so grateful for my tribe here, because every one of them said, "Mom, if you happy, we're happy." Mom, and so I'm in preparation mode. And so preparation and purging. There's some stuff I'm already thinking through. Okay, I don't need this anymore. I'm not gonna need that anymore. But I also have some personal assignments I'm working on, and we gonna know. We'll know when it's time. And you know what? I have a pastor that I trust. So when Bishop says to me, "It's time," I'm gonna say, "Let's roll." Let's go. So thank you again, Bishop. Yeah, Carolyn said, "We're waiting on you."
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. And you know, I just think that um you ought to show some sign, like I said before.
Yes.
So when God does anything, there should be some sign. And whatever that sign is, people should be able to be a witness that something has happened, something has changed in you. And so
Yeah.
I love when the old saints used to say, you ought to show some sign." And so
Yes.
if you claim that God has changed you, if you claim that God has done anything, is there anybody who can testify to it? Is there anybody who
Yes.
witness to what God has done in your life? And so I just believe that, you know, when God does anything, there's always a witness to God's word, God's power moving upon you. But then there'll be some sign, something that indicates that God has done something. And so y'all look for signs in other folks, and other folks will look for signs in you. Okay, so thank you all for joining us tonight. And thank you, Dr. K, again for hosting a great session, moderating us. And thank you, everybody. And if you are interested in being a virtual member, as Dr. K is of Empowerment Liberation Cathedral, we would love to have you. And Dr. K, if you inbox her, she will send you the link to where you can
Yes.
join, be a virtual member of the church. Again, we are an affirming church. We're an inclusive church. We're a church that celebrates all people. If you're an ally, we would love to have you as a member of Empowerment Liberation Cathedral. Those folks who are in Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Virginia, we need y'all here as members of this church. we used to have people to drive down from Philadelphia some Sundays. And I was always amazed. I said, y'all coming down here from Philly? They were like, yeah, we ain't got no affirmative church in our area. And so, we want you to be here. We met a wonderful individual on was it Monday? Uh Her name was Renee, was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Ruby.
Ruby. And we're so glad to meet Ruby. She came down from Baltimore. And so, again, if you need a church home, Empowerment Liberation Cathedral is a place for you. And Dr. K can give you the information if you inbox her as to how to get the link to become a member. And, we have some great videos up for you. If you want to go on YouTube, you can find us on Empowerment Liberation Cathedral, or you can find the sermons on my page on Bishop Allyson Abrams. But we need, look, singers, y'all send your videos in because I'm going to play them. If you can sing, I'm going to play your video during the services. We're in person first and third, but second and fourth, we're still all virtual. So if y'all can sing, we're going to play your videos during the Sunday service. So y'all sing us some psalmists, the psalmists, y'all send us some videos, okay? And we'll be happy to play your video. But Dr. K has to send it over to me. So if it don't pass her, it ain't gonna get to me. Okay. If she don't feel that the Lord has laid his hands on you as of yet, then she okay. You just
Yeah.
all right, but you all have a blessed evening. May the peace of God and the love of God and the sweet communion of the Holy Spirit be with you all. All right. Blessings. Amen.